So this is a new format, a little mini podcast, if you will, just a little thought that I wanted to share quickly. And I'm doing it in audio versus text for a couple of reasons. But let me back up very quickly. So for the last several months, I have not been able to do a whole lot with my arms because my carpal tunnel, and now I have the fancy lateral epicondylitis, which is a super fancy word for tennis elbow. But both of them have been off the hook. And it falls into the whole pattern about self-care because it's not unheard of that I would have carpal tunnel, right? I was a concert pianist for 20 something years. And then when I stopped playing the piano, I traded that keyboard for a computer keyboard, and I have had one in my hands pretty much every day of my life since then. So I'm not going to say how many years now, I have always had a keyboard. So carpal tunnel, I probably could have predicted. But what I didn't predict was that it would get so bad that my arms would be, I don't want to say useless, but I would need to stop using them for like weeks at a time. That I didn't anticipate. But several months back, I finally had to admit things were untenable. I was dropping things. My arms were always swollen. They looked like thighs. It was just not a good thing. And it finally got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I started with those big, huge needles. I'm not even going to take you there. I'm just going to say I started paying more attention to pain signals and doing what I needed to do for my arms, which meant that I couldn't do a lot of stuff I was accustomed to doing. I couldn't be on the computer except like 15 minutes of every hour. That might not sound like a big deal to you, but it is torturous to me. But let's fast forward past that. So I have a friend who's a registered nurse who was in town visiting. And she took one look at my arms and she turned pale. And she's usually a lovely mocha 600. So the fact that she suddenly turned pale was a pretty big deal. But she took one look at my arms and she looked at me. And at first I thought she was going to cry. And then I thought she wanted to hit me. And then she settled into nurse face. And all she could say was, "Why did you let it get this bad?" So I'm being a good patient and I'm going to the doctor and I'm doing physical therapy several times a week and I'm icing and I'm doing all the things I need to do because at this point I have no choice. So this has been going on for 2 or 3 months now, and I'm getting out of the casts and the different levels of splints and braces and starting to be able to do a couple of things. Like I can take the casts off for 2 hours a day, which is magical. But here's the thing. So I saw this same friend for the first time in, I don't know, a month or so. And she reached up and touched my arms and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're so much better." And I was like, "They are?" You could have bought me for $1. I was so surprised by that. I was like, "They are?" And she's looking at me like, "What are you, simple?" She's like, "Yes." So she's rubbing on the elbow where the last time she did that, I leapt up off the sofa and she's not hurting me, but she's touching and examining my arms. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're so much better. Those huge lumps are gone. The knots are down. They almost look like regular arms." And I laughed. But then later, after I had a chance to process it, I thought, that's fascinating. Because see, every day I'm still fussing about something I can't do. Like earlier today, I thought to myself, "Ooh, I should thaw some chicken thighs and then grill them." But then I mentioned that to her and she's like, "Why don't you put them in an Instant Pot instead?" And I know why she said that. Because the Instant Pot involves me kind of throwing the chicken in there, turning it on and walking away. And grilling involves a lot more use of my arms. There's marinating, there's basting, there's turning, there's a whole lot of stuff, which sounds little, but to all of you out there who might have carpal tunnel or other repetitive stress injuries, you're feeling my pain right now. Because see, the taste of grilled chicken would be amazing. And I really wanted to do it. But, oh, by the way, garlic spicy chicken out of the Instant Pot is also fantastic. So it's not like I'm suffering. It's not like she said, "No, don't make good chicken. Instead, put it in the dirt and roll it around." What she simply suggested was that I cook it in a way that would protect my arms. So at first I was mad for a hot second because I'm a rebellious child. I'm a really bad patient. But then I thought to myself, If she hadn't mentioned to me that my arms were so much better, I might have missed that. That's one of the joys I find in working with my clients, because they'll tell me things and they'll tell me stories, or they'll tell me about something they've been working on, or they'll have tried a new skill at work and it just worked really well for them. But they'll tell me the story, but they'll kind of gloss past it. They like race past this thing that has me wanting to jump up and down and cheer, because they're missing the smaller moments of how their lives are changing and how they're improving. So I'm really grateful today that she made me stop and think about it, because she's right. The big, swollen, I can't sleep, my arms are throbbing so well, all of that is not happening anymore. And they almost look like regular arms. And right now, I don't even have casts on them, and it's not a problem. I'm actually holding the phone, recording this, using an app on my phone instead of my usual setup at my desk. So I sound like a little bit of a squirrel, and you're thinking, man, is she having an ADD moment? No, I'm not. I just want to invite you to have that kind of joyful jolt of electricity that I got when I realized that if I slow down and pay attention to things with a different perspective, I'm happy about them. So instead of whining about the fact that I dropped a jar yesterday and it broke and all the lovely sauerkraut in it spilled all over the floor, instead I thought, wow, my arms don't hurt today and they're less swollen. So my orthopedist told me in the beginning it was going to take 6 months, and we're like 2 or 3 months in, and they're better. So he was right. So today I'm just kind of bathed in gratitude that my arms are improving. And I'm grateful that my friend showed up in that little coaching moment and pointed out to me that something was changing, that something was moving, that I was different, so that I wouldn't miss it. So I'm just wondering today, as you're moving through your life, if there's something you've been working on, something you've been hoping to change, that you're still frustrated by, that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm trying. This isn't working. And I'm just wondering, maybe not. But if you step back from it and look at how you used to behave maybe 6 weeks ago or 3 months ago, has the change happened? Because see, I don't want you to miss that. So I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but I hope that you will stop and think about something that you have been wanting to do and see if you're getting closer to it, but you weren't yet paying attention. With that, I'm going to go ice my elbows, and I want you to have a powerful day. I'll catch you next time.